Welcome to another edition of Take 5. We're in John chapter 8, verse 31, and we're in the middle of a discussion Jesus is having with some of his opponents, you could say, some of his enemies. So we'll pick it up here in verse 31. So Jesus said to the Jews who had believed in him, "If you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Alright, he's telling these guys, but he's also telling us that if you abide in the words he taught, in other words, if you live in them, if you obey them, if you apply them to your life, you're one of his disciples. Okay? And once you're one of his disciples, you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And he's going to explain what that means here in a minute. But these guys aren't getting it. In verse 33, they answered him, "We are offspring of Abraham." Okay, this is what's called bragging about your pedigree. Okay, this would be like somebody saying, "Well, I've been a Baptist all my life. My daddy was a Baptist, my granddaddy was a Baptist, my great granddaddy and grandmama were Baptists. As a matter of fact, they all Baptist preachers, and we've been Baptist all our lives." Or pick another one, Presbyterian or Catholic or whatever. I'm picking on Baptist a little bit because there's a lot of them here where I live. But it's basing your relationship with God on your pedigree. They're saying we're Abraham's descendants. We don't need to listen to you. You don't have anything to offer us. Okay? That's what they're trying to say. So they answered, "We are offspring of Abraham and have never been enslaved to anyone." Well, I mean, that's, as a nation, they were certainly enslaved to the Egyptians. They were enslaved to the Assyrians, and even as they spoke, they were under Roman captivity. So these guys really, they were a lot more prideful than they should have been. "How is it that you say you will become free?" Jesus answered them, verse 34, "Truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is a slave to sin." Now, this is what Jesus really wanted to set them free from. It's what he wants to set us free from. The fact is, and if you've committed sin, and we all have, I think you can see the truth of what Jesus is saying here. Because when you commit sin, it's very enjoyable. We enjoy it or we wouldn't be tempted by it. So it's enjoyable and we want to do it. And eventually we do it again and again and again. And maybe that first time we do it, our consciences bother us because we know we shouldn't be doing it. But we do it again and again. And eventually we're enslaved to it where our consciences aren't even bothering us much anymore. And we can't stop. And we wonder how we got in that situation. Whether it's a sexual sin, whether it's a drug addiction, whether it's a gambling addiction, or even just sins like pride or prejudice or judgmentalism, self-righteousness. We've just been this way so long we don't even know how to get out of it. Okay, Jesus is trying to tell you he can set you free from that, but you've got to stick with his word. See. Verse 34, well, we just read that. Verse 35, "The slave does not remain in the house forever. The son remains forever." Okay? If you owned a slave, he didn't get to stay in your house. Okay? You could sell him. You could free him. He could be, gone that way. You could put him out in the field. But a son, he gets to stay as part of that family forever. Okay? Now watch this. Verse 36, "So if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are offspring of Abraham, yet you seek to kill me because my word finds no place in you." Alright, let me ask you this. Does Jesus' word find a place in you? Verse 38, "I speak of what I have seen with my Father, and you do what you have heard from your father." Alright. Next verse, really indicting. Verse 39, "They answered him, 'Abraham is our father.' Jesus said to them, 'If you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. This is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works your father did." Okay. They said to him, "We are not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, even God." Okay, Jesus is trying to get at something. Jesus is saying God's his Father, but he's not their Father. And you can tell who your spiritual father is by what you do. That's what Jesus is saying. All right, and that applies to us too. If we're doing the things the Father wants us to do, then we're His children. If we're not, we're somebody else is our Father. And we're going to get to that, but not today, because this is take 5, and I went way over yesterday. I'm not going to do it today. You're going to have to come back tomorrow and find out who their father was and who your father is if you don't obey God. But you're going to have to find that out on the next edition of Take 5.